That's a great point because we're gonna get to kind of where I was wrong. Well, I was still right, but I was wrong.
Mm.
There's the timing was bad. What I said, I didn't say, and in two. Okay, so let's just get straight into the shits. Team USA wins the gold, defeats France. What was the score, Keat? You got the I know you got that final score.
I think they won by, I want to say 11.
1-11. Yeah. The game was in the fourth quarter a little bit closer than that 11 point.
Yeah.
I know it got down to 3, but moral of the
Mhm.
story is got down to about 3 points. And then Steph Curry saves the day, hitting about 4 threes in the final 3 minutes. And then the vintage step back, side scuffle. Yeah,
Over the double team.
over the double team, over the outstretched arm with Nick Batum. But that goes back to and then even before that, he saved us in the Serbia game with his hot start, kept us close enough for LeBron, KD, and Steph as a collective to kind of bring it home for us against them. Because if he doesn't hit 7 threes in the first 3 quarters, USA is not close enough to even be able to make a push coming back from 13 in the fourth quarter.
Hmm.
Right, right. So what and I I guess I gotta apologize to Steph because I didn't think he had it in him. The biggest thing that I was saying was that in history shows when the moment gets it's big, when the stage is there, when it isn't, you're not playing against inferior competition, like a la Golden State Warriors versus 22 Celtics, a la it's me and my mans, the whole the Monstars and LeBron, Kyrie hurt, Kevin Love hurt, second best player, Della Mendova, a la that. When it's even and there's shit on the line, he comes up smallest. When it's go even all the way back, I want to take, and this is the thing that I've been talking about Steph Curry. This isn't just some shit that I'm just like, oh, he missed a shot and was struggling in the first place, first few games of the Olympics. He sucks. This is the thing that I've noticed from the front. Like I said, it wasn't nobody from the jump a bigger Steph Curry fan than me. He was supposed to win the national title in college. That was his shit to take.
What seed were they? I don't feel like they were a high seed though when they
They
were
weren't a
coming.
high seed, but they had a crazy run.
Yeah.
He
They
was
were
They
like
were
supposed to
a
win
10,
that.
at
You
the
I
back.
think
supposed
they
to
were like a
take that
10
home.
seed.
You supposed to take that home. If Kemba Walker was able to do what he did, had no business taking one home by himself. Steph Curry was supposed to take that home. So, but that's here no there. So that's what I'm saying. It starts there where it kind of left me scratching my head. That was the first point. I was like, huh, that nigga was supposed to take that home. What happened? You know what I mean? And so then you see in 2016, we already touched on this, came up very small, had just they lost that because of him, in my opinion. And then Olympics, bronze here, all the eyes here for the gold, was struggling. But he seemed to have finally got that monkey off his back and did what I said he did not have. He got a signature moment in a big game.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I 100% agree. I think Steph's always like folded in big games. Just going back to like the Cavs finals, those years, like even all the big games, like you had Clay having big 41-point game, like big games. Draymond even game 7 went off. Like big games for Steph, he just hasn't. He's always been off. You know what I mean? Big moments. Even the last play coming down game 7 against Kevin Love, struggling to get a shot off against K Love, like
Mm.
just little
Oh,
things like that. Numerous times from Steph. So beginning of the game, gold medal game, I said, don't be surprised Steph has a bad game. Say he did what he had to do the game before. He does what he normally does. The game before the big game, he'll go off and get you what you need to do. It's the big one where he kind of like shivers. And at first, the game he was cold. I think what got him going was the three he hit over Wemby, that the quick one,
Uh-huh.
the corner, and it
Where
bounced
he shot
in.
that bitch like 20 feet in the air.
Yeah, and it bounced in.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, he's got a little swag, got a little swag. And then obviously towards the end of the game, I was like, okay, yeah, this is crazy. I was watching the last 2 minutes of the game, and I was like, damn, Steph proved me wrong because he's like he proved me wrong. I wasn't expecting that at all. Truly, and we needed every bucket. Truly, so I
Yeah,
mean,
I think
kudos to him.
the most like my favorite part about all that was the fact that like he was getting double teamed, and if you look around who else is on like he was on that heater and France started throwing doubles at him, and you look around at who's on the court, he's sharing the court with four other Hall of Famers, and he
Yeah,
has that much he was that hot in that moment that France was like, nah, screw this, let's go, let Kevin Durant, let LeBron, let Anthony Davis, let somebody else beat us, and we're talking about Hall of Fame players. but it was to the point where they couldn't stop him that was the alternative was to let another Hall of Famer try to beat them. So that was what really stood out to me. I mean, he had a remarkable performance, but I think obviously I think the Serbia game was better because the game was more in jeopardy and we needed especially in the first half, he kept us in it.
Just
Um
every bucket.
but one thing that like I did want to ask y'all about is I feel like a lot of people have like just kind of the narrative around how he performed and how the last two games went. I feel like people are almost using it to like boost his legacy. Like, does this help his legacy in y'all eyes?
Um, no, it doesn't help what's happened. Well, yeah, it helps. The gold medal, he didn't have the gold medal, and he gets his signature moment. Okay. So what hmm, that's a good question. So when I see him get this, I'm like, okay, maybe does this mean he gets that unclutched monkey off of his back? Because that was definitely a thing. So now I got to see it happen in the NBA in the big moment in the big time game. He niggas was been
I
losing. He
I
loses
think
playing games.
The Boston finals, I think he kind of showed. I mean, obviously it wasn't the same caliber of Boston team as it was this past season, but that game four in Boston, they were down 2-1. If they lose that game, they probably don't win that series, go down 3-1. And he put up 40 plus on the road. And they didn't look back from there. So that was kind of like for me, that's like the signature Steph moment in his career, especially because kind of everybody wrote them off after the Clay Achilles and um yeah, that one stood out to me. But yeah, like because it's interesting to me because like if people use this to like to boost Steph's legacy in whatever sense, and maybe minor. I think it does help his legacy, even though if it's not. I mean, his legacy is already stamped at this point, but um, obviously does help it slightly. But I feel like the conversation around his Olympics versus the fact that KD is the greatest, most decorated Olympian of all time, but people kind of use the fact that he hasn't won in the NBA without Steph, or whatever narratives there are about KD. I kind of feel like I don't know. I feel like they're like using Steph in this Olympics. His performance like is like holding more weight in people's eyes. I don't know if it's just because it's more recent than the fact that KD is now a four-time Olympic champion and he scored the most points in Olympic USA men's history. He's done all these things for the Olympic team. He's carried teams that have had
Vince and women.
far less talent than this team had. This He carried the last Olympic team that didn't have a LeBron James, didn't have a Steph Curry, didn't have a Joel Embiid. Um, his number two option was Jason Tatum, who rode the bench this entire Olympic run, and you know what I'm saying. I feel like people kind of aren't necessarily holding that to the same weight that they're holding this Steph performance because maybe it was on a more global scale, maybe more eyes were on it because you have LeBron and Steph in the Olympics too. So I don't know. That was just interesting to me and something I was thinking about.
Well, I think it's a bigger deal now because it's Steph's first and only Olympics. This was
Hmm.
Steph's second Olympics. Then I'm sure like people would be looking at it as, oh, this is such a defining moment. But since it's his first Olympics and it's only one, it's more like, okay, he came to his first Olympics, showed out when he needed to. That's all we've been waiting for. It's a big ups to him. You know what I mean? Especially with
Hmm.
the hype around this Olympics, with like obviously the world getting better and everything. Like if he would have done this maybe like the 2020 or another Olympics, it wouldn't have been so crazy because we're expected to get
Yeah.
that done.
Hmm.
But now with the best player in the NBA being from Serbia and the next best player in the NBA being from France, it's like, okay, he had to do this, and then he did
Yeah.
it. So big ups. I think that's like the big statement piece right there for him.
Yeah, no, this Olympics had definitely more eyes on it than the last one. So yeah, I agree with everything with that. Yeah, Steph, he was expected to play like this. This is Steph Curry, man. So like
Yeah,
that's why I put such an emphasis on him struggling at the beginning because I was like, damn, like you was supposed to come here and be the man, bro. Like you supposed to be doing step shit, which he did and get the semifinal and final. So you got to get that to him. But he wasn't doing step shit. So I'm like, damn, is maybe the moment too big for him again? And there's a lot of pressure here.